One of the questions that we often get asked by people, particularly if they're moving from track to track doing new track days, or if they're traveling around the country or internationally racing, is how do you actually go about learning a new track quickly? Because unless you've got track days leading up to an event or some sort of coaching school leading up to an event, then there's very little time to actually learn a track. So I took this question and I posed it in front of people who are professionals in this field, who between them have ridden, I'm sure, at least 100 motorcycle tracks around the world. And they've got tremendous experience in going to tracks cold and then very quickly having to understand what the best line is through those corners, through the track, and how to actually ride it quickly. So I will leave the conversation to them. Enjoy. How do you go about learning a new track?
Slowly. So take a couple of sessions to actually go out there. And so it's all, as we talked about with the road riding, it's all about turn entry, having some reference points. So where am I going to steer the bike from and where am I going to steer the bike to?
Yeah.
And basically understanding the radius of each turn that you're about to ride so that you can make the correct action. So the best way to do that is go out there and do what we do at Superbike School in level 2 is go and have a good look around. Don't just look at the piece of tarmac in front, look at all of the available tarmac, the full width of the track, and then come up with a very basic plan for each turn.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not like Bayliss, so tell me the lap record and give me a track map. No, I'm more I'm not really a track studier, and I've ridden a lot of tracks, and I figured out, probably with the school of, breaking things down, take it easy, take in your environment. The first session always for me is, average. I don't, move well on the bike, even if I've done 3 days in a row. The third day, the first session, I just don't enjoy. I don't get off and go, okay, I can go home now. It was generally the last session I go, well, that was the best I've ever ridden. I want to go home. With a big smile on the face. So no, I try and a new track for me, I have to ease my way into it.
Okay.
If you get the opportunity, walk it. If you get there at a reasonable time, go out and walk the track before riders briefing. Because what you see, even if it's a televised track, what you see on TV doesn't show camber, and it doesn't show decreasing radius corners. Those sorts of things. So it's that sort of stuff you only see when you're on the bike and you have speed.
Yeah, right.
For me, I focus on the exit first. I look at the turn and go, okay, what does this exit need to look like for me? Where do I want to be?
Right.
On the track. And then I build the turn backwards from there. So, if it's a hard driving turn and you want to use all the way to the outside, then you look at where that's going to be. If it's, a series of turns, maybe you only want to exit halfway, because where you want to be on the exit will really determine where your apex needs to be in order to get that exit. And then once you've got your apex, then you can determine where you're going to turn in to actually hit that apex. So, the first thing you need to do is sort of line out. If you've got a good line, everything becomes much easier from that point. If your line is no good, then it makes things a lot more difficult. But the exit is different for everyone depending on what sort of bike you're on, and also what skills you got as well. Like that can make up a big part of what line you choose. So for sure, if you can follow someone that knows the track, that gives you a really good head start. But if you blank canvas, you got no one there to follow, just have a look at, what sort of exit you want, and then just build it back from there to achieve that.
I think the key is, and it kind of goes backwards and forwards with your understanding on the bike and what to do with the controls.
Yeah.
And then the understanding of where to put that in a corner. So as you would know from Superbike School material, level 1 is really about the control sequence for riding the corner and what you do and when you do it and how much of it you do.
Yeah.
Level 2 is all about the visual aspect. So understanding, your location on the track, where you might want to turn the bike from and where you might want to end up, and, those sort of elements. So for me, it's a matter of, because I've done it for so long and my skill set and using controls is pretty solid, I don't need to think about that. So I'm spending all my attention on, and working backwards. Where do I want to end up at the exit of this corner? Where do I want to be? All right, well, to get that, then I've got to be here.
Yeah.
To get that, and I want to be in this condition at this lean angle or this speed or whatever it may be. To get that, I need to do this. So I actually work backwards around the track,
Yeah.
and then try and build that into a lap. And I do it corner by corner. So I think about what's that corner where I want to be. Okay, back that up there. All right, great. So to get there, well, I've got to be here.
Yeah.
And so on.
So it's interesting because it's very much about getting the right reference points so that you know you're in the right location to do the right control input.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is going back to the beginning of our discussion.
Yeah.
That's the simplicity of riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, right.
The three things you need to know: which control to use, when to use it, and how much of it to use.
Yeah. Yeah, it is as simple as that, isn't it?
It is.
But the complexity of getting to that knowledge. Very cool. Well, plenty of information there from people who really know what they're talking about. I hope you got some tips there that you can apply when you go to the next new track that you actually go to. But here's what's interesting. You could actually apply the same thing to the tracks that you already know, and maybe there's some learnings in there. So I trust you got something out of that. I will see you in another video. Bye-bye.